Hello, kids. Back again, talking about Tom Selleck. Now, the first thing we want to note is he works for AAG now. He's selling reverse mortgages to your grandparents or you grandparents out there. And, you listen to Tom and he says he's studied these issues. He's been out there reading about reverse mortgages, even though he probably has absolutely no need for one. Now, I am not the first person to point this out if you look at, about anything attached to this issue, which is really kind of a non-issue, but that's the first thing they state. And, he has no need, which makes me wonder how it goes in the Selleck household at night. He's been through a busy day filming. He's done whatever things he's done through the day, and his wife's like, come on, honey, let's go to bed, because, at one point he was the sexiest man alive. I think it was like 1987, but hey, 30 years ago, Mrs. Selleck's 30 years older too. Whatever they want, and she might offer up extra, like, Tom, just please put away the reverse mortgage stuff. I need you. No, honey, I just want to study this. I feel compelled. Which, of course, for the rest of us, since he has absolutely no use for such a thing. I mean, what's the other alternative? He may actually need one. Who knows? Maybe he is failing financially, but I don't think so. Maybe one night the guy who played Rick showed up drunk and put a gun to his head, and he's like, God damn it, Magnum, learn about reverse mortgages! No, that's not it at all. We all know exactly why he's done this. Because they paid him to say it. Okay, so now that we have the obvious out of the way, Tom Selleck is being paid to hawk a product. Why would that bother me? Well, in large part it doesn't. I could care less. Except for one thing that really kind of, I don't know how to place this to you. It sticks in my craw that Tom Selleck has claimed to be a conservative for many, many years, and I'm beginning to wonder if he understands what it is to be a conservative. Now, I by no means am necessarily a conservative or a liberal. I tend to go issue by issue. But a person who would be a conservative, especially one who is friends with William F. Buckley Jr., he is the guy who revitalized conservatism, wrote the National Review, just brilliant guy on that particular field of, philosophy. I've read a variety of different things, including stuff from Mr. Buckley, and a lot of conservatism isn't just about constitutional application of law. It's not about financial schemes. It is about the preservation of what is within a society. Like, for instance, a person who wants to save the Grand Canyon National Park is a conservationist. A conservative, in terms of politics, wants society. Now, they do things that I don't always agree with. For instance, they want to conserve marriage. They don't want gays marrying, which, sorry to tell you, constitutionally speaking, it's okay. That would infringe on their freedom of religion. However, there are certain things in conservatism that I steadfastly agree with, and one of them is preparing for the next generation and how to do so. My grandparents or great-grandparents came to this country on my dad's side. Okay, then you know what I mean. My great-grandparents from my dad's side came to this country, and they wanted to make something for themselves. And they had lots and lots and lots and lots of kids. My God, like 27 total, I believe. 13 girls. Sorry. 28 total, sorry. So between 28 kids, all the stuff they acquired got dispersed amongst them, and it helped the next generation. My grandmother, when she died, passed what my grandfather and her accumulated to her two sons. My dad died, and left me a house and a crap ton of debt and all sorts of other nonsense, but, that's my issue. What I think every parent, though, if they really thought about it, would hope to leave their children something of real value, such as a house, a pile of gold bars. I mean, just something that the kid can use to build upon and give to the next generation. You see, I hope someday to have grandkids, and I hope my sons will be able to take whatever I leave them, which is at this point that stormtrooper behind me on the globe over there. A lot of weird comics. But I hope they will be able to take and make something of it and give to the next generation and the next generation after that, to where the family keeps retaining a high standard of behavior, a high standard of income, things like that. Lots of education, big on that one. Keep pushing that on the kids, And those are technically under the conservative values, because those were the things that our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents' generations were taught. The baby boomers, on the other hand, seem to be where this derailed, where you're looking at a baby boomer who's trying to peddle reverse mortgages, which are the antithesis of this conservatism. And oddly enough, this is like the worst of it. Here you've got the one thing of value, and they're saying, hey, be a spoiled little punk and don't give anything to your kids. Be selfish like you have for the past 60 freaking years of your life. Oh my God. 70 years, 60, 70 years. This whole generation has been, it's all about me. And they passed it on, and now we have a bunch of narcissistic, sociopathic little punks running around. And it's like, oh, I don't know how these kids got so bad. Well, I can tell you, it's pretty simple. Children model themselves on the behavior of their parents. Now, my parents' generation, or maybe your parents' generation or grandparents, depending on how old you are watching this, set this up. Now, there are a lot of things where one could go, well, they were the children of the greatest generation and blah. No. Let's just look at it on a case-by-case level. You have something of real value, and you want to trade it off for this loan, because that's all it really is. It is a loan on the equity of your home. For those of you who do not understand that concept, the equity is the growth of value over time. You have this equity built up, which if you sold the house and had the equity, you would have a lot of money. If you just had the equity left over, you'd have some money. If you just had the house left over, you'd have some money. But what these things do, and they can't do this for houses over $500,000 because they, for one, are preying on people who are middle class going into poor. They take these items away from the families so they can grow more. This is truly one of the most shady businesses. I've heard minimally they make $8,000 to $10,000 per deal. The reality, I've suspect, is much more. I've heard many cases of higher numbers being taken, up to 80,000 lost. And then, of course, there is the actual base item, the house. When you move out, the house is ours. You don't have to worry about it. So you're homeless, you have no money, and you must be in a really screwed up position. Now, if you are truly desperate for money and you have no other way, I'm not going to stop you from getting money. The reality is, though, kids in my generation should be helping your folks And it will help preserve this legacy not just for yourselves, but for your kids. Now, that is how conservatism is actually supposed to work, at least on the social end. Familial conservatism. Do I, want you to go out and start, gay bashing or something? No. But this is one facet of conservatism that actually does work. And Tom Selleck, you just sold it out. Way to go, Tom. Thanks for watching and stay mad.